What's going on, all my loyal Dragon Knights out in the Dragon Den? King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Medicom Toys Mafex the Mighty Thor. But before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is brought to you by the Jewel Gallery. Jewel Gallery, home to the largest selection of jewelry in the Southwest. Rings, necklaces, pendants, and other fine jewelry. Jewel Gallery is also the home of the one and only Jewelgram. So come in and find your fit at the Jewel Gallery, where it's all about the ring. Getting Thor out of the packaging, we're greeted to a very impressive figure, but before we take a look at his details, let's run through his accessories. The Mighty Thor comes with two very impressive head sculpts, as well as several sets of hands for various style posing, two pairs of hands with handles already in them, a full-size Mjolnir and a smaller Mjolnir, and finally we do get a spinning Mjolnir effect. So overall pretty decent accessories here with the Mighty Thor, so with that out of the way, let's finally take a look at his details. Mafex has done a very good job capturing the look of comic book Thor and capturing him into action figure form. He looks really impressive and there are a lot of details throughout his costume. Taking a look at his head sculpt, it is screaming classic Thor. A very defined jawline and very defined facial features make this a very impressive figure. He is wearing his silver helmet with the wings attached to the sides, and being classic Thor, he does have his golden locks of hair. Taking a look at his costume, it is exactly what you picture classic Thor's costume looking like. He has a black sleeveless shirt which looks really nice, and then we do have 6 silver discs on his torso. The sides of his shirt are exposed so you can see some of his flesh underneath his costume. He does have bare arms which look really impressive, especially with the shading throughout the musculature. His arms are very nicely defined and he is wearing black and red wristbands. Taking a look at his waist, he is wearing a belt that has a T for Thor and some gold accents. The yellow belt does go all the way around the figure and you can see he has 2 more discs on his waist. Thor has some very muscular legs which are very well defined here on this figure. Although there is no shading, there is enough musculature that you can see exactly how defined his legs are. Finally, taking a look at his boots, he has a very classic set of Thor boots. The top of the boots are exposed rather nicely and I do like the yellow wraps that go around the boots. Very clean paintwork on the black parts of his boots look really nice, and he does have some gold accents on his feet. Finally, Thor has a very impressive red cape. His red cape is attached to the top of his shoulders, where we do have 3 wireframes on the inside of his cape. Following that, we also do have a wireframe going around the perimeter of his cape. So overall, Mafex has done an amazing job capturing the look of the classic comic book Thor. But that's where we find one of the biggest flaws with this figure. Let's actually compare him to our usual suspects. Here we have Thor posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman, Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man, the Lightning Collection White Ranger and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. Here we have him posed next to the classic Marvel Legends Thor. And finally, here we have him posed next to the Invincible Iron Man. So as you can see, Thor is rather on the short side when it comes to scale. His size might be a turnoff to a lot of collectors, so do keep that in mind with this figure. But with the size comparisons out of the way, let's finally take a look at his articulation. Thor has a double ball joint in the head and in the neck, ball jointed butterfly joints and ball socketed shoulders. Arms go out to the side and do a full 360. Bicep swivel and double jointed elbows. Ball hinges in his wrist. Double ball joint in the upper torso and ball jointed lower torso. Ball hinge hips go forward, back, out to the side, and we have some thigh swivel. Double bend in his knees. Ball hinges in his ankle, and we have a toe hinge. Finally, we get a very sturdy wireframe in his cape. So overall, some pretty good articulation here on Thor. It works for what it is. So with everything said and done about this Thor, let's finally move on to my final thoughts. The Mafex Mighty Thor is a very impressive figure in terms of sculpt and paintwork. I absolutely love the sculpted details on this figure. The musculature on his torso, the very muscular legs, everything on this figure is sculpted beautifully. Add to it, the paint job is really clean. I like how clean it is on his boots, as well as the highlights on his muscles. Add to it, they did a really good job painting his face. It looks very good here on Thor. He also has a healthy array of accessories which look very good with the figure. Add to it, the spinning hammer effect is very nice, and I do like the miniature Mjolnir that he can wear on his belt. Where this figure misses the mark is in his size. I think Mafex might have undersized Thor here. He is about the same size as his standard Mafex figure, however he is shorter than the Mafex Iron Man. I know the size might turn off a lot of people, but overall I think the detailing on this figure is a good selling point. Once you get this figure in a good pose, you're really not going to care much about the scale. I picked up my Thor from Hobby Link Japan, so I did get mine early, although he is hitting statesides at the time I'm making this video. If you think this figure is worth it, definitely check him out. And as always, before we wrap up this video, I want to take a moment to thank the Jewel Gallery for once again sponsoring this video. And as always, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other action figure and Mafex videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, and other goodies, and ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, coming from the Dragon Den, my loyal Dragonites, I'm King of Dragons 5000, telling you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.